Hey guys, I'm Mal today. In today's video we talk about the Highlanders versus the Chiefs within round 7 of Super Rugby Aotearoa. So yeah, this will be a very interesting game, obviously, with the Highlanders coming back from a very impressive win against the Crusaders. You know, it was probably the shock of the season so far, so, you know, hopefully they'll want to continue that form within this game. I mean, the Chiefs, on the other hand, you know, they are coming back from a bye, so, you know, they've had a lot of rest, you can say, and, you know, hopefully they've analysed that game and, you know, how to actually beat the Highlanders within this game. I mean, it'll be a very close game, obviously, with, you know, the Chiefs actually coming back. You know, they've actually gone on to like a winning run, which is a first, you could say, within Super Rugby Aotearoa by beating the Hurricanes and then the Blues. So obviously they want to continue that run. But you know, the Highlanders are playing at home, so they will have home advantage. So it should be an interesting game to see who actually wins, because obviously both sides are very close within the table, with the Highlanders on with the Chiefs on 9 points and the Highlanders on 8. So anyway, here is the lineups, obviously, for both sides. You know, I'll run them by with you guys and tell you what I think about them, and I'll give my prediction right afterwards. So with the Highlanders, of course, you know, they have stuck with the likes of Eden de Groot at that one position, but they have actually switched that free position with Takalahi, and they've brought in Josh Honock, who I think is a good switch in the sense where he brings a lot of Super Rugby experience, in my opinion. So I think that's a good switch to make. And obviously they'll be facing the likes of Aidan Ross as well as Angus Tava within the Chiefs. So there should be a very good, you know, competition there within the scrum in particular. If I pick the edge, I'll probably edge it towards the Chiefs, in my opinion, just because I think Angus Tava, you know, he's all that quality, in my opinion, still, and I think he brings that kind of edge and, you know, aggressiveness, and also he can win you a lot of penalties. So that's kind of the reason why I'd edge it towards the Chiefs within that section. So yeah, moving on to the hookers. The hookers is a very interesting one, obviously, with the likes of Ash Dixon being the co-captain for the Highlanders, and then obviously he'll be facing the likes of Takalaho for the Chiefs. He was a bright and up-and-coming hooker, and yeah, still, I always say it, but he's one to look out for the future for sure for an All Black call-up. But, you know, he's been very impressive so far within this competition, I'd say particularly within that game against I believe, the Hurricanes. But more or less, he's been brilliant so far. I mean, normally I would say Ash Dixon would win this battle, but he just hasn't been himself, to be particularly honest, within this competition. So I'm actually going to edge towards Takalaho again. So the Chiefs have actually won the full front row, in my opinion. So that should that's an area which the Chiefs should look to exploit the Highlanders within this game for sure. But anyway, moving on to the locks for this game. You know, you do have the likes of Bryn Evans as well as Perry Parkinson, which is the combination for the Highlanders. I think it's a very good combination because obviously Bryn Evans brings you a lot of Super Rugby experience, and yeah, I mean Perry Parkinson, he's just a generational. He's like a generational lock, in my opinion. I think he's like the next up and coming lock really for the All Blacks to select. So it should be interesting to see how he does. Obviously, he is playing another young lock who's obviously been brought up recently from the All Blacks, and that's Tubo Valai. So it should be interesting to see who wins that battle between Parkinson and Valai. But Valai also is partnered up with the likes of Al Kui, who's probably been the better lock, in my opinion, I'd say, throughout this whole season. So that's probably the key battle, in my opinion, I'd say, throughout this game. Normally, I would edge it towards the Chiefs, actually, because I think I think Valai and Al Kui has just been a better combination, I'd say. But I'm actually going to edge it towards the Highlanders, purely on the basis which I just think they have more. If you look at it like where it's like they have one experienced lock and they have one up and coming lock, I just think that's the perfect combination. So for that reason, I'm going to go with the Highlanders within that locking spot. So moving on to the loose forwards, obviously with the loose forwards there is some changes, you could say. Obviously there's a huge change with the Chiefs with Sam Kane injured, but I'll get on to that. With the Highlanders, of course, you do have the likes of Shannon Frizzell at that 6 spot, so that's kind of normal thing to see there. I mean, you do have Yankees, actually, James Yankees, who's actually at the 7 spot for the Highlanders. So it should be interesting to see how he does. Obviously, he is replacing Billy Harmon within this game, so we'll see how he does within this game. But obviously, you do have the likes of Kazuki Himeno, who I was very impressed by, I'd say, within that 8 spot within last week's game against the Crusaders. So yeah, hopefully he can just continue his form. I mean, he's just building up that confidence. That's what I want to see. And obviously, he's getting a lot of Super Rugby experience by being behind us. So yeah, just glad to see that happen. Now, obviously, they'll be facing the likes of Mitch Brown, I believe, at that 6 spot. And obviously, they've had to switch that 7 with Sam Kane now being injured for the rest of the season. That's a hard blow, really, for the Chiefs, as well as the All Blacks, because obviously he is the captain for both sides. So should be interesting to see who the All Blacks actually select for captain further on. But yeah, obviously Kalen Boucher will obviously be replacing him within that 7th spot, and he's obviously, I'd say, replaced him within the past few games whenever he's not played there. He's just been he's a solid player. I'm not going to say he's better than Lachlan Boucher, but yeah, Kellen, he's a pretty good loose forward, so definitely wants to watch out there for. Yeah, no, but obviously the last one is Luke Jacobson, and yeah, he's been probably the Chiefs, in my opinion, player of the season so far. So we'll see how he does in this game. If I could say who'd win that battle, I would have edged towards the Chiefs, to be frank, and then Sam Kane, but just because they don't have him, I'm going to edge towards the Highlanders. So anyway, moving on to the backs. So the backs is a very interesting one, obviously, with that 9-10 combination with the Chiefs. You do have the likes of Brad Weber and Caleb Trask, which is a pretty good combo, I'd say, and has worked brilliantly, I'd say, throughout the last 2 games. But you do have the likes of Aaron Smith, and then you have Mitch Hunt, which is probably a more solid duo, if I had to say so myself. I mean, Aaron Smith obviously is replacing Fakatawa from last week's match, which is, and Fakatawa, don't get me wrong, he's been brilliant, but unfortunately, if you haven't heard, he has been ruled out for the rest of the season, and probably longer than that, to be frank. I mean, he's been ruled out for, I would say, 9 to 12 months, so he could be out for a year, which is kind of heartbreaking because he's one of those up-and-coming players you want to see often, and yeah, particularly within that scrum half position, which is a key position which the All Blacks need to improve on for the future, and Fakatawa is probably the front runner within that, so yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it's disappointing to see, obviously, for him to be injured. Well, what can you do, really? What can you do? But Aaron Smith will also be replacing him. And now that Aaron Smith, Mitch Hunt duo, I'd say, is just a bit better than the Caleb Trask and Brad Weber. But don't get me wrong, Brad Weber has definitely had a better season than Aaron Smith, in my opinion. Anyway, moving on to the centres. The centres is a very interesting one, obviously, with the Highlanders. They've actually changed both centres in this game, which is kind of interesting to see. You know, they've actually gone within this week's game. Let me just get this up now. Yeah, they've gone actually with Scott Gregory at 12, which is very interesting because he normally plays usually at 14 or at 15. So it's interesting to see how they've switched him within that 12 position. And obviously his partner in crime will be Tompkinson. So in Tompkinson, he's just a beast. I mean, I love Tompkinson because he's a quick player. He's similar to Liam Mape in the sense where they're both like battering rams, but at the same time, Tompkinson's more of like a. He's more diverse in the way he plays. He's kind of like a Brandon Edwards / Liam Mape. So that's what I kind of like about him. But anyway, you know, for the Chiefs, obviously, you do have the likes of Quintapea and Antonio Brown, and yeah, to be honest, I'm going to go with that all day. I mean, that's the perfect combination in my opinion. Quintapea is like the exact replica of Liam Mape for the Hurricanes, and then Antonio Brown is just, yeah, I mean, what can you say, he's probably one of the best centres in the world at the moment. I mean, well, still one of the best centres. And yeah, I mean, yeah, he's quality. So whenever he's on the field, you're gonna definitely be happy that he's on your team for sure. But yeah, no, definitely the Chiefs win that section for sure. So yeah, moving on to the winners. So the winners is a very interesting one, obviously, with the Highlanders. They have Jonah Nareki, which is a good thing to see. And obviously, Jonah Nareki had his breakout game, you could say, within Super Rugby Aotearoa this season against the Chiefs by scoring 3 tries against them, away. So that was a heartbreaking one, you could say, for the Chiefs. And they'll definitely want revenge, particularly from him. So we'll see if he... but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Nareki gets a try within this game. It's just one of those things which he'll be more familiar with the way they play, and probably he'll want to score another try against them. But his partner in crime, obviously, within this game will be Punavai, which is an interesting one, because Punavai, he's still a young talent, but I wouldn't really say he's a 14. I'd probably say he's more of a centre, but it's interesting to see how he's been switched that position now. For the Chiefs, however, they do have the likes of, not Sean Nui, but Aotearoa at that 11 spot, as well as Jonah Lowe, which is kind of interesting to see because Jonah Lowe is more of a young gun, but obviously you do the likes of Aotearoa, who has a bit more experience in Super Rugby, but also he's electrifying fast, so yeah, definitely a must-watch player, I'd say, for the Chiefs in this game. But yeah, obviously, I'm probably edged towards just to the Highlanders. That's a just. So yeah, I'll give the Highlanders just on those winner spots. But yeah, with the last position, obviously, you do have that 15 spot with Damien McKenzie being at 15, obviously, and then Connor Basham. Yes, and I can see him definitely progressing into the All Blacks, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, he's been brilliant. I mean, Connor Gordon Basham has been brilliant. I mean, he had a brilliant game against Crusaders last week, and he's just continued his form, really. And yeah, this is his first season, so yeah, definitely expect to see a lot more of him within that Highlanders squad for sure. But yeah, I mean, I can't really neglect to really Damien McKenzie. He's been probably the breakout, not going to say breakout player, but one of Chiefs' best players this season. So yeah, definitely McKenzie gets that spot for me. But yeah, that's kind of it with the video. I mean, if I had to say who would actually, with with the team I mean. But if I had to say who actually wins this game, I'd probably edge it towards the... See, I want to say Highlanders, but at the same time, I actually think the Chiefs will continue their dominance. So I'm actually going to go with the Chiefs within this game. So I'm going to say the Chiefs will win this game, but only by 3 points. So I'm going to say they'll win this game 25 points to 22. Yeah, 25 points to 22 to the Chiefs is my final prediction. So anyway, just hope you guys have a good day. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.